I'm Shannon Skinner, and this is a show where you will meet extraordinary women. Now, I have two extraordinary women on the show today. Christine Cirka, who is the founder of Essence to Success. She's here to talk about authentic success and her feature in a book called
Amazing Woman.
Amazing Woman, What's Your Story? Well, talk about blowing the intro. Amazing Woman, What's Your Story? Later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute when I ask my guests for the top tip on creating a successful life. You'll hear Christine's. And later in the show, you're going to meet Pam Duran, who's here to talk about sound and healing and her lovely, lovely music. So, Christine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Shannon. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, it's really nice to have you. Now I said I was going to be changing the start of my show, and I really did, didn't I?
Yeah, we said everything is fine. It's imperfectly perfect. So,
now, what is Essence to Success?
Well, Essence to Success, I named my company that because I really feel it's our core essence, our true essence, that when we tap into that, it brings forth our most authentic success. And that's the most joyful and meaningful life for us.
So how did you come up with this name for a coaching business?
Honestly, it just came to me.
Yeah.
I was driving, actually. It was just in a moment it came to me. It just felt right. And because I'm all about sort of bringing forth that authentic way of living, and it just felt right for me.
Now, personal transformation is something that's very important to you. Mm-hmm. Why? Why is this such an important aspect of your life?
Well, it was important to me just to get through understanding sort of what had happened to me so far in my life through, separation, through, all the different life aspects and transitions that I went through. And it just really felt that I needed to understand the core of who I was, kind of minus all the wounds and the things that had happened to me, all the perspectives that I had taken on over my lifetime. And so I just really went on this transformational journey of really kind of doing this self-discovery.
Now, what has been sort of the biggest obstacle or the biggest challenge that people are experiencing in transforming their lives? I mean, I know that you deal with a lot of clients that are going through transition.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that the biggest transition, the biggest obstacle is when you change, you're changing the energy and the dynamic of all the people around you as well. So the core group of your family and your friends, sometimes they don't want you to change. So I think often, your spouse or your children or some aspect of your life, they'll come forth and kind of be uncomfortable with that, because anytime one person changes their energy, it's a must that the others have to change as well.
Why is that? I mean, why does one person's energy?
It just affects, we're all energy, so when you sort of expand your energy and change kind of who you are, it just affects the relationship and the dynamic of the person that you're closest with. And it kind of forces a reevaluation, either a reevaluation or kind of leaving and not to change, So it's just the way the energy works, I think, in our life.
Now, I know that you use something called the passion test as a tool in your business. What is the passion test, and how does it help people?
Yeah, so the passion test actually was a New York Times best-selling book by Janet and Chris Atwood. And really what it is, and I start with that usually with my coaching clients, because it really helps them tap into their heart, what's important in their life, and their passions are really sort of the key to opening up their life. And once we identify our passions, we can start to go forward with that energy and go on our heart's path, and start to bring forth our gifts in the world and sort of just live more authentically to who we are. So I think it's just a wonderful tool to get back to that passion and essence of our heart.
So how does it work?
So what happens is, what I do is actually workshops, either 3-hour workshops with people, or I do one-on-one sessions. And what that does is we identify their top 10 to 15 passions, and from there we work with those passions to identify the top 5 that are important for them to just set a direction, to get clarity and set a direction in their life. And once you set that direction, it's almost like you're putting a point in the universe and saying, okay, this is where my life direction is now, but you stay open to the possibilities of other things. So it's just really about getting that clarity, and it's a system around finding those passions. There's a number of other things that are part of that.
So, I mean, how do we know what our passions are. I mean, when you say, once we identify our passion, but then how do we, sometimes we don't know, or do we always know?
No, we don't always know. And really what the passion test does, it's an evolving process. So it's learning sort of how to make decisions towards your heart. Most people I do find do actually end up tapping in and finding their passions and start moving forward with those. Sometimes it's just if they don't have that clarity right away, it's just learning how to get that clarity, and that does come out over time. So it's, I usually recommend that people bring the energy right into their heart, sometimes sit out in nature, and just see what comes naturally, and don't sort of let the mind question what is coming out. Just write those things down. And then start stepping into those things. And if they don't feel right, your heart will start to feel confined. That this passion just doesn't seem like it is right for me right now. And so it's all about feeling that heart energy of expansion and contraction.
Is that fear? Do you think it's when it feels like it's not right or constricting and it's not expanding? I mean, is fear what is going on?
It can be. It can be fear. Sometimes there's a combination of fear but still a knowing that you're supposed to step into things. And so that fear, which is really an acronym for false evidence appearing real, what that does is sometimes tries to block us from expanding. So I kind of think of it as our kind of ego self, let's say, thinks of the universe as a smaller aspect of ourself. And then when the fears are about, that ego self is not wanting to step into the unknown. Our heart knows that we're supposed to go in. So you develop a knowing and an intuitiveness as you are working through your passions, and you're supposed to step into those fears and move forward. And your mind might argue with you for some days, but your heart knows, and you just go for it.
So do you think fear is a sign that's something that we should be stepping into, or do you think it's
I think it is at times. I think you really have to kind of go below the fear and see what it's about. So sometimes a fear is there because, to protect you for a real reason. So it's really understanding. So when is it, your mind is playing tricks in terms of the fear just being uncomfortable with the expansion of you. So it's really going underneath and finding your intuitiveness and listening to that inner voice.
Do you think that maybe fear closes down the heart?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think fear is that illusion, and it's all is right in the universe from the heart's perspective, and when we're open. So yeah, I think it is a closing of the heart energy.
It brings something to mind. Often we talk about listening to the inner voice and the whisper in the heart, which of course, my first book was called The Whispering Heart, Your Inner Guide to Creativity. And when I was writing that book, I really explored the heart and the opening of the heart and fear and its connection to the heart. But something I also explored was intuition. And I used to think that I was pretty good at listening to my intuition, but I think sometimes it's not always intuition. Sometimes it is emotion. Sometimes it is something else that's getting in the way when you think it might be intuition, but it might be actually your head, or it might be an emotion.
Yeah.
So, how do we know what really to listen to, and what to really, or how to be guided from within?
Yeah. So I think it's a number of things. I think first of all, we try and pause before we're making decisions, because usually the first reaction is often that mind or ego base. It's something that's happened to us in our past and we're reacting to it. So if we pause and we respond, so we go within. Yes. Often what I'll do is I'll ask my heart for an image. So an image of like a metaphor or an answer. So I'll ask the question of my heart, and I'll sometimes get an answer. I almost feel it like a visual coming out of my heart. And when it's a metaphor, I know it's not my mind. It's something. It's giving me an answer towards something. So an image sometimes works.
So now we're about to take a break, and this is the perfect time, I think, to pause and to ask you. I know that you've got a great tip for the audience.
Yes, absolutely. I think the first tip is really believing in the power of your heart, believing in yourself, and really feeling that heart energy, the presence of your heart throughout your day. Emanate that energy out as you are in nature or throughout your day, pausing and emanating the energy out. and just believe in that energy transforming your world. So stop focusing on any of the negative things that are happening out there in your world, and focus just on sending out that loving heart energy that you're capable of. That's going to come from your true essence and transform yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, more with Christine Cirka. Welcome back to the show. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm speaking with Christine Cirka, who is the founder of Essence to Success. Christine, it's really interesting. We're talking about personal transformation, and this is something that you know a lot about. You take your clients through it, but you started somewhere, and you had a big transformation in your life, and it's something that you've written about in a book called Amazing Woman, What's Your Story? What's the book about?
Yeah, the book is really about tapping into that hidden power of your life, and really using that power, that essence of your life, and bringing that forth. Changing your story, really looking at your story and the stories that you tell, and really changing that story to one that serves you.
Now, it was Marsh Engle, of course, that brought a number of women together in this book to tell their stories. What is your story?
Yeah. Well, my story was actually, it was just a flash of a few moments, but it really changed my direction in my career. I would say that my focus in my career was to really, unfortunately, look for things like my salary, my status in my work, my recognition, my awards, the money I was making. All those things were sort of defining, I would say, what my definition of success in my career at that point. And what happened was I started to look at my skills and kind of where they were aligned with my organization, and recognize that my skill set was broad, but in terms of the organization, they had a very defined skill. So I recognizing this perspective that maybe my manager wasn't seeing all my skills, I actually sat and had a meeting, a yearly review where an employee brings forth all the things that are important to them in their work for that next year. And what happened was, I actually was at home, and what happened was I had put down what makes me special. I wanted to identify from her perspective, what skills made me special in terms of her work. And she paused, didn't say anything.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. And I asked the question again, and she paused, nothing. And something inside of me just welled up, and I couldn't speak. And I was on the phone, so I didn't feel I could hang up on her.
So you were upset.
I was upset. It was like my inner child just wanted that little bit of recognition from, who was at the time my superior. And it just broke me down. And what I really felt like was that my corporate personality breaking down as this 7.5 minutes happened. And then I got enough composure to be able to say I had to go, and I hung up. And really that was just a reflection on, what was I not valuing in myself? Why was I looking to all these things outside of me to define my success? And it really brought my heart energy forth. And I asked my heart, what makes me special? And my heart says, you are special. It doesn't matter what anybody says, you are special. We're all unique. We all have value. We're all special. And letting anybody else define that for us is just wrong. So I brought that energy forth to my career of my heart, I call it. And that's really why I brought forth the coaching.
Now, if I can just read a brief excerpt from the book. So more and more I started to become the person that I thought this corporation wanted me to be, and became less and less an expression of the true essence of my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really felt that I was suppressing my creative spirit, just trying to do what I felt was right for my customers and for the organization. And I really lost myself in my corporate career, and wasn't able to just express, that full essence of who I was. And that's really why I went into more of an entrepreneurial journey now, and transformational journey where I can help others do the same.
So do you think that there are a lot of people out there then, working in the corporate world or other, that are, experiencing this, where they're living according to corporate values and maybe not what's inside of them?
Yeah, there's actually a study, a Harris Interactive study, that about 4 out of 5 are unhappy with their work. Really only 20% are satisfied with the work that they do. So yeah, I believe that it's a big problem, that people are especially in low economical times, they're hanging on to the salaries that they're making and aren't comfortable making the transition out.
Was it challenging for you to write your story and have it published publicly? I mean,
yeah, I actually, when Marsh had asked me to be in her book, and I'm just really honored to be featured as one of the women, it was a difficult. I actually said to her, my heart is saying yes and my mind is saying no, but because my heart was saying yes, I knew I had to do it. And quite honestly, I think anytime you're having that expansion, a lot of fears can come up. So I call it my mind hijacked me for a few days, saying, who are you to be in this book, that type of thing. And but I just talked to my mind and said, okay, I already made the commitment. We're doing it anyways, and went forth. And yeah, so it felt vulnerable to express this aspect of my life, and but I felt it was a story that had to be told.
Where is the book available? Where can people buy it?
Yeah, so the book is available at www.amazingwomansuccess.com, and that's woman with WOMAN, success.com.
Singular.
Yeah, singular.
AmazingWomanSuccess.com.
Yeah.
And of course, people can also get it at Amazing Women's Day, which I believe you are a mentor at.
Yes,
you have a great role in this day. So tell me, what is your involvement?
Yeah, so I'm actually really a champion for the Amazing Women's Day movement. So we are having in Toronto on April 16th the Amazing Women's Day, which you're a media sponsor. And as a mentor, I am really a part of that whole movement of really helping women look at the amazing inside of them, each and every woman. It's not about leaders, just leaders, although a lot of visionaries and coaches and transformational entrepreneurs do come to the day. But it's about celebrating every woman and finding the amazing in each one of us. And I'm mentoring, and I'll host a luncheon at that event.
So we want, of course, you to come on out. As Christine mentioned, the show is a proud media partner of Amazing Women's Day, taking place April 16th at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, downtown Toronto, the brand new Ritz-Carlton. I haven't even been there yet. More information about the show or about the event at amazingwomensday.com. We'd love to have you come out. Great day filled with celebration and transformation, inspiration.
Yeah. And what I want to share was, for the first 3 people that connect with me that want to come, I'm willing to offer a special one-on-one coaching with them, an hour of one-on-one coaching, so they can really implement the principles of the day and bring that more forth in their life. So anybody who wants to connect with me can connect on the website.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that sounds like a good deal. Anything else that you'd like to share or add about Amazing Women's Day?
Yeah, there's just a lot of great mentors. It's really a celebration, and helping us get those 6 essentials and really tap in. Every Amazing Women's Day is slightly different.
But Marsh Engle has Amazing Women's Day in a number of cities around North America, and I think she's
right. San Francisco will be next, and
I think she's going internationally to Bali, I think, at some point too. Yeah,
she's done international locations as well, and she'll continue to do so. It's her 10th year, so she just celebrated actually her 10th year anniversary, and so. It's just a wonderful celebration and learning and tapping into the heart, and just really the heart energy is eminent in the room. Lovely singers like Pam Durand, and
our second guest, Pam Durand. She's also going to be at Amazing Women's Day. In fact, she's going to be performing.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And really, it's just about that connection of the heart.
So now, I know that we were talking earlier that you had a couple of tips.
Yeah, I have 3 tips on really awakening the heart energy and transforming your life. And really, my first tip is all about that we are not our thoughts. Okay, we sometimes think we are our thoughts. When a negative thought comes in, we're really that creative spirit of all that is, that infinite spirit within. And often we'll kind of latch onto the thought and give it extra energy. When the thought comes in, if it's a negative thought, just let it float on by like a cloud. Just don't latch on to that, and just bring forth the heart energy of the positive thoughts. Your heart will only send you loving and inspired types of thoughts. And my second tip is really about ending the day with gratitude. Gratitude is just a powerful, powerful magnifier of heart energy. And if you actually, when you're closing your eyes, going to sleep, just have gratitude at the end of your day for whatever, for loving friends, unconditional love of your children, the beauty of nature. Just bring forth that energy and go to sleep with that energy. And that can just, help you with magnetizing all those wonderful things in. And the third one is really about understanding that your heart and passion are really the keys of bringing forth your most authentic life. And what I mean by that is just really, your most joyful, purposeful, meaningful life. And what we do is just feel that heart energy, and bring that forth in your life. And those are my 3 tips.
Oh, those are fantastic tips. Something I learned to do in my life some years ago is to count my blessings before I go to sleep.
Great. Yeah.
And I think about the day. I recount the day, and I think about all that I have to be grateful for: the people, the experiences, the good, the bad, the challenging times.
Yeah, because we get gifts even from the things that happen to us that we might deem as negative. There's still gifts and learning from that.
And it was something that has really made a big shift in my life. Just finding gratitude at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Now, Christine, it's been really such a pleasure having you here today, and I'm really looking forward to hearing you talk at Amazing Women's Day. So best of luck to you, and let's do this again someday soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Shannon, and I invite everybody to come to my website and connect with me. I love to do one-on-one coaching, women's circles, workshops, retreats, and
your
get
URL
information is www.essence.success.com.
So Christine Cirka at essence2success.com. I invite you to go visit her website, and I invite you to buy the book, Amazing Woman, What's Your Story? And you can find it at amazingwomansuccess.com. So this has been fantastic, really, really inspiring. I learned a couple things.
Thanks. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks a lot.